Hello knife people. This is my first video I ever made in YouTube, and I thought I made a review on a knife that I like, and I thought that people could be interested on my take on the knife. And please be merciful, or how do you say it in English? I'm not very good at this. I'm awkward at making these kind of things. And this is my first video, so bear with me. And English is not my first language, as you probably already noticed. I'm a Finn. So so the knife that I wanted to show you is Sissipuukko by Peltonen, m95. And the reason why I wanted to do this video is actually I haven't seen that many reviews on the knife, and I think it's awesome tool, and I think it deserves a review. This is only going to be a tabletop review, so inside it's horrible weather outside. I won't be filming there, but in the future I probably will do some tasks with the knife. So, but okay, this is going to be a short video anyway, but yeah. So this is kind of a interesting knife. It's a kind of a military knife. It looks a bit like a military knife, though the shape, as you can see, is rather classical. And as a Finn, this really resembles Puukko, and the name is also Puukko, so it's not really a Rambo knife, sorry. And it's really it's quite capable. So the specs are so thickness is 4 millimeters. I find it quite nice thickness, to be honest, perfect for this knife. Tapers quite nicely to a thin tip. Saber grind, sort of. Yeah, there's a secondary bevel. There's a Teflon coating on the knife, which has already started to worn off. Some batoning has taken some off, which is okay because I'm not really that fond of this kind of coating, but it doesn't bother me. Bother me. Sorry. So the length is 15 centimeters. Yes, and I don't have the weight or this kind of specs, but those are the most important things. The length is quite nice, and yeah, should also show you the sheath. Really nice, sturdy leather with molly strapping possibility here. And there's the locking mechanism, which is actually really nice. It's not. I actually like this sheath. It's one of the best sheaths that I have ever had, and I've worked with knives since my childhood. I owned many knives, and this is really nice. And yeah, this is actually interesting knife in that sense that I think people are more familiar. I will show you another knife. I think people are more familiar with this one. Nowadays it's really hyped. Bushcraft knife. This is the Jääkäripuukko 140. Here's the sheath. And the interesting thing is that this knife, this Jääkäripuukko, which is one of the most talked about bushcraft knife lately, and for a good reason. It's absolutely awesome knife. And but the interesting thing, this is not so talked about, but this was the original. This knife came much before this. So this design is really it stems from already from the knives made by Fiskars company. I believe already early 20th century. So almost 100 years ago, the evolution of this kind of design started, and Sissipuukkos were made by Fiskars company, and then Peltonen was a captain in Finnish army, designed this in, I believe, in 80s. Don't quote me on that, because I will put the more details on the description to be certain, because now I'm just kind of improvising, but from my head. So this could be inaccurate somehow. But anyway, the Peltonen made this knife, and this has been quite used knife by Finnish army, and I believe also Swedish army since 90s have used this knife, and they were sold in Varusteleka already many years before Varusteleka designed this one. And it's interesting because although if you look at these knives, they're really quite similar. They're different, of course, but actually quite similar. There's the same kind of idea with the finger groove here. The thickness this is a bit thicker handle. Of course, there's subtle differences. This is a kind of a high Scandi grind. This is a saber grind, but they're really quite similar. So I believe this really takes its influence from this Peltonen Puukko. And I have been using these two now for a year, and I think it's interesting to compare these two, because I actually think they're both fantastic knives, and I can't even say. I was discussing this with my friend by a campfire, that which one he would prefer or I would prefer. I actually have a hard time to say. I really don't know. I can't say, because they both have their pros and kind of. I don't think they have any cons actually, but they have their both kind of their fortes, or they're kind of better at some things. But this really deserves more attention. I believe this could be better suited for some people than actually this terava Jääkäripuukko, and vice versa, of course. For me, I don't know. It's difficult. This is a bit thicker. I believe it's somewhat thicker. It's a terava Jääkäripuukko. If you can see it here, it's really slightly bigger, but it's really hard to. I don't know. It's a bit bigger, beefier. And it's a bit shorter, so it's not by much. So it says like 1 centimeter should be, but I don't know. So this should be like 140, of course. This is 150, and the handles are here. This is the Jääkäripuukko is a bit thinner, the handle, and this is a bit beefier. And the Peltonen has a kind of a chimping here. What's then the terava Puukko has this pommel, which I actually find quite nice. It could be useful in many situations actually. I like it. The Sissipuukko has here the lanyard hole. Yeah, they're both from the same steel. ATCRV2, made by Lauri Metalli, so they're really similar. And on top of that, I believe that also the sheet by Jääkäripuukko takes the influence from this Peltonen Puukko, really, because they both has incorporated the same idea that you have here kind of a finger guardish, I don't know, it's a finger guard, yeah, and then you use that friction to hold the knife in, and the terava Puukko, it's fantastic, this knife, because this already keeps it really secure. It won't go anywhere, absolutely anywhere. This is just, and then you even can make it more secure. This is one of the things I actually love these two knives. But the Peltonen, of course, it has the same idea. So it's, here's the finger group. The only difference is that here in a Peltonen Puukko is a rolling kind of a rubber wheel here, and you push it. It's difficult to show it here. Maybe here you can see the rubber wheel, and you push it in, and it's totally secure. It doesn't go anywhere. And on top of that, you have a thumb rest here, which is from a nice grippy but kind of a hefty rubber, and you can open it like this. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I love both of these sheets actually. They're really great. Which one would I prefer from these ones? So as I already said, I don't have an answer. I probably would maybe take this just because this is a bit more maybe difficult to get. I don't know. I don't even know. It depends on the situation. Both of these I have used on hiking trips. Most use I do with these are in a campfire by my garden here in the countryside of Finland. And they're awesome camp knives, really. You can baton with these. There's no, they won't break. There's the total bomb proof in batoning. This, one could say, with the tip here, I should actually show it. The tip here is much beefier. So one could say really that this takes a little bit more beating, probably. And yeah, okay, but now we go to those kind of pros of the knives. This is absolutely beast of a batoner. This I love baton with this knife because it's kind of the Scandic grind separates the wood, but the thing is that it really is, it doesn't feel bulky at all. It is a very stout knife, and there's many videos made by, for example, those Dutch DP Gay boys on their video about how they couldn't destroy this knife, and so this really is, it feels hefty, but I don't know, it's also very nimble. That was the main kind of surprise for me, how nimble this. I thought it's going to be a massive kind of survival knife. No, it's actually awesome bushcraft knife. It's really, I don't know why, it feels very balanced. The balance is, wait a second, it's really here. It's really balanced. And I have to say, okay, I go step by step. I'm a bit, because this is my first video, I don't really know how to do these things. But okay, the first thing, this is a better batoner for sure. Not by much, but it's, I would use this, I would choose this as a batoner. Okay, I will then show this. So the tip is, like I said, a bit more delicate, not by much. So this really, these are really like, I don't know, hard to say these differences, because this is also a fantastic baton. I've used this baton really big logs and with nooks and crannies, and yeah, I like it. The pro could be for batoning the length, but because of the delicate tip, that actually there's no difference between that. Okay, so this wins in a batoning competition. Yeah, not by much, but I guess wins. Then feather sticks, I actually don't really know. It's hard to say. Maybe this could be a bit better with the Scandi. So you can use the Scandi grind to make those delicate feathers. This is a better slicer because of this convex. It's a bit better at slicing, and it's a bit thinner also behind the edge. So this really cuts through wood amazingly. This is a fantastic knife. But now when I look at it, it really is a bit thinner on behind the edge. So that makes this a really good